Changes to work visa rules are set to give Kiwis even more preference for Christchurch rebuild jobs.
Calls for migrant workers have become a bit more complex. Employers previously had to show only that a migrant could fill a vacancy. Now they must register that vacancy with the government skills hub, which will search locally for workers first. Christchurch immigration consultant Mike Bell backs the idea and says it will be a good way of linking employers with training courses and recent graduates.
The downside is that this is potentially a bottleneck. It could work well in terms of ensuring there are no New Zealanders around to do the work before any jobs are offered to foreigners.
Immigration New Zealand says the policy, which comes into effect on January 28, will streamline the process. However, Bell fears it will make the system too stringent and slow the process.
With the rebuild, things are starting to go really smoothly. The systems at immigration are very good. What I'm most concerned about is with this business and employment hub, that it's properly resourced.
Or it may create a bottleneck and do more bad than good.
In the early days, the first 2-3 weeks of the hub operation, they're going to get a minor avalanche because it's a new system. Anyone trying to get a work visa through in those first few weeks is going to have a letter from them.
If employers do need foreigners, they'll be able to get them quickly. But if the system is under-resourced, it will slow the rebuild. Just like what happened in 2008 when the recession saw a system established to ensure Kiwis were offered jobs first, with labour market testing through work and income.
People could get a work visa while they waited if they had absolute skills, 40 minutes an hour, and it raised it to 35 days, as much as 70 days. And the difficulty with that is it impacts on employers. If employers can't get the staff they need when they need them, this can really impact what they can do, and with the rebuild we don't need that kind of delay.
He says migrants are meant to fill the skilled gap, not compete with jobs. But if it's clear there's a skilled gap and employers need staff, it's essential there's a smooth and fast process to get them in, especially in Christchurch, where he's noticed the only thing holding up employment is insurance.
Once the insurance is through, the employer needs the staff right there and then. They need to be able to hit the ground running. And if they've got say for example a month, 6 weeks delay of getting skilled staff through, that could really hurt them.
His concerns that the hub won't be properly resourced comes from what's going on within Immigration New Zealand at the moment.
What I'd like to see is Immigration New Zealand properly resourced. At the moment, the department's going through a consolidation where offices are being closed, potentially staff laid off, and I would like to see that reversed. I'd like to see more staff employed.
There's a shortage of unskilled workers in Christchurch, but he says looking overseas for these workers simply won't work.
Unskilled workers can't get into the system because at some point they have to go through a work visa, and an unskilled worker just wouldn't have the ability to get that job. The employer wouldn't be allowed to give it to them.
But the only thing concerning him regarding the shortage is low wages.
If employers, for example, are insisting on trying to get migrants from overseas, that the intention behind that might be to push down wages. And that does happen in other countries, and it's a bad thing, basically, for local workers and for the economy.
The Canterbury Employers Chamber of Commerce has called for unskilled migrants to fill labour shortages, but warns this new system will be too dogmatic. They say people should be able to tap into labour that will best meet their requirements without any artificial barriers in place. Gracie Fee, CTV News.